All right, so for my final take, bro, I'm thinking I'm going to combine kind of 2 into 1 here,
Okay.
though, right? Because it's like we kind of can. Well, Kyle Pitts, I'm going to say Kyle Pitts going to go over 750 yards and 8 touchdowns this year.
Okay.
Big bounce back. That one's not as hot, right? Because we know he has the talent for it.
Yeah.
But this next one, maybe a little more spicy. George Pickens, I think George Pickens can have a huge breakout. He can go for 1,100 plus next year.
That is a big jump. I fuck with Pickens, but I can see it.
Like, so I'll say with the Kyle Pitts one, right?
Okay.
Well, again, he just has to be used as the decoy a little bit less on the offense. And we know in terms of
Arthur Smith hates him.
Yeah, say if Arthur Smith can like, it's literally to the point where he just has to have he has to have that moment. He's gonna like, here's what I need him to do. He seems to be out in the back, chilling, whatever music he enjoys, whatever, just sitting back, enjoying the sun. And he's got to have this realization, like, wait a minute. What if like on one snap, I took like Mac Hollins and instead I just used like my second string tight end where I was going to use Kyle Pitts and we just like throw him out wide and like throw a fucking streak with him or something. Like, doesn't that sound fucking crazy? Like, doesn't that sound really cool? Dude, I think that sounds pretty amazing. If I could sit on him and I could give him a few ideas, right? My first idea would be like, let's start stretching him vertically, like how the Saints used to use Jimmy Graham, or like how we see that Darren Waller's going to be used on the Giants this year. Like, why aren't we doing that? This guy's a humongous mismatch. Like, if you try to throw a 6-foot corner in front of him, it's never gonna work. Even a 6'2" guy, are they gonna guard him? Right? Like, what?
No.
So I'm just getting a little confused. I'm gonna keep getting confused and keep getting mad. If he doesn't have the bounce back he deserves, use him as a receiver, use him as a tight end. He's both. This whole like trying to I hate how that happens in the league. Where dudes clearly show they have such a versatile skill set in college and whatever. And these dudes try to make them into one thing. It's like, just because you're one thing and you don't get the option as the coach to do a bunch of things, don't try to just take his talent and fucking make it into one lane. It's really annoying. And we see it a lot. And I'll say as a Saints fan, I've had the privilege of where Sean Payton never really used to do. Thank God. He's not with us anymore, as we know.
Yeah.
Hopefully Dennis Allen has the same approach. But yeah, give guys versatility options, dude. Like you need to, because it makes it so much harder to game plan as a defense.
Yep.
And they deserve those opportunities. I'll stand on that.
Pickens, or Pitts, my bad. I mean, he already had 1,000 yards year one. It's really like the touchdowns. This is where he needs to pick it up. So it's definitely doable. I really like Pitts, and like I think that offense is going to be fun. I wish they had an actual like quarterback. I know like people are like super in on Desmond Ridder. Hey man, I'd love to see him step it up. I'd love to see him like have a Tannehill type year, like when he got integrated with Arthur Smith. But I don't know, man. I think Kyle Pitts over 750 yards, easy. The 8 touchdowns is where you get me.
No, the 8 touchdowns. That's the thing is, I know he can do it. It's just a matter of like just start getting the man targeted and start lining him up a receiver, even just like inline slot, something cool. Give the man an option, right? And then with George Pickens, I'll make the George Pickens one quicker. But with George Pickens, it just comes down more to Kenny Pickett. Again, I think Steelers fans for some reason have this idea now that I'm like a Steelers hater. That I'm let me be clear, not at all. Mike Tomlin's that guy. Steelers are one of those franchises. However, like I said, there's just how I saw the schedule this year wasn't necessarily how you guys wanted it to be. But regardless of all that, Kenny Pickett, I do think is going to make a big jump this year. Like I said, I know he can. He just has to show me now. And if he makes that jump, what he showed me, his intangibles, and the way that I think he'll make a connection with the number one receiver, kind of like how he did at Pitt. He's kind of like I think he'll have that tendency where there's going to be the number one guy in a Kenny P offense, really number one guy, like how an Aaron Rodgers kind of thing, like a Drew kind of thing. You really have your number one right in certain situations. That's going to be George Pickens in this offense. And it's like if they have a productive offense and they move the ball a lot more, don't turn it over as much. There's no way George Pickens can't go for at least 1,000 plus. 1,100 might be a little pushing it because that's a huge jump from last year in a sophomore year, but he can certainly do it. And he has the talent for sure to do it.
Oh, I love George Pickens, and I think he definitely has the talent. I think Kenny P is going to take a step this year. I don't see any reason he can't go for 1,100. I honestly think like he'll overtake like Deontay Johnson as like the wide receiver one. I don't even know if
only a matter of time, right? Like,
and so 800 yards his rookie year. It's definitely doable to get another 300. Considering there was a couple games in there where he was getting like 60-70% of the snaps. He wasn't on the field like 80% of the time. So definitely a chance to do that. I like both Pitts and Pickens, I think, because if you look at Deontay Johnson, he was on the field for like 80-90% of the snaps. So you get Pickens out there a little bit more. I don't see why he can't go for 1,100.
Right?
Steelers receiving core is low-key kind of stacked.
Low-key.